Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Marcus.
That's me. I look like a floating head right now.
You kind of do. But we're both wearing dark-colored shirts today.
Yeah.
Mine's gray.
So, this is Dynamite. I didn't get a chance to change the graphic today, so it's still last week's Young Bucks vs. Jurassic Express for the tag title. I was stuck in the office from 6:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon.
He's a working man, as they say.
I was in the office for 11 hours.
Funny, I slept for 12.
Nice. Good for you. I wish it was me. Alright, so this is the go home to Forbidden Door. And well, let's start right off the bat with the elephant in the room. Mr. Bryan Danielson's no longer on the card. He confirmed today he will not be facing Zack Sabre Jr., but instead, replacing him is one person he very much respects and another amazing technical wrestler. Now, who that is exactly will be left a mystery until Forbidden Door, but you and I, and I think the majority of Twitter, is under the firm belief that it is Mr. Claudio Castagnoli, formerly known as Cesaro.
Yeah, I firmly believe that.
Yeah, and it only makes sense because last we saw, it might not have been the last time we saw Cesaro, but the last time we saw Daniel Bryan with Cesaro was Cesaro fighting Roman Reigns using Daniel Bryan's moves, most notably the label lock. And they had a great respect for each other at the end of Daniel Bryan's time in WWE. And Cesaro is a wonderful technical wrestler. But that also begs the question, who else could it be instead?
That is a question.
I saw the name Gresham thrown out there. I don't
Gresham
think that's
has
possible.
thrown out there.
Gresham is the leader of the Foundation, and I don't think he'd team up with Blackpool Combat Club for 2 weeks. You mentioned Josh Alexander. I think you mentioned Josh Alexander. Or
You did.
I did. That's possible. And it would truly be Forbidden Door if that were the case. But I don't think Josh beats Zack, and I don't think Scott D'Amore would loan out their world champion to lose to Zack Sabre Jr.
No, I don't think so either. But I just think it kind of sucks, like, that it's probably going to be Zack losing.
I don't think it's that terrible of a thing because Zack is kind of untouchable right now. He's kind of bulletproof in the way that Seth Rollins is. He can keep eating losses and keep getting back up, and Zack is not in any title picture. He's not in the top of the card. So you give him a loss here, you build him back up, and I think it's easy. Liz is taking care of some hair problems right now.
I just noticed that my part was, like, fucked up. Like, in a very profound sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. You catch those things on camera and you're like, ah.
Now, I mean, we could throw out some other technical wrestlers. Josh Woods. Lee Moriarty. Should be an easy win for Zack. Daniel Garcia. He's not on the card.
No.
But Bryan Danielson would not would not respect Daniel Garcia one bit.
No. Yeah.
Who's another technical wrestler?
Don't know.
I think Cage Match lists wrestlers by their by their class. No, it's like they don't. Cesaro's really the only one.
He's the only one that really makes sense, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who else Bryan Danielson would be like vouching for at this point. And plus, everyone's been talking about since Cesaro, or since Blackpool Combat Club formed, that Cesaro would be a perfect fit. Because he would be. And he was also William Regal's last televised match.
Well, then there you go. I think it makes the most sense. I mean, also, like I've said multiple times, Daniel Bryan hates Eddie. Eddie hates Cesaro. Daniel Bryan's a shit disturber.
Mm-hmm.
He would absolutely choose Cesaro and be like, "This is our new buddy," and Eddie's gonna be like, "I don't know about that, actually."
But that also begs the question: would we see Cesaro get bloody?
Yeah, I'm sure we would.
Now there is also Kushita.
I don't think it's Kushita.
He is a great technical wrestler.
Yeah, I don't think it's Kushita, though, because that's not Forbidden Door. That's New Japan versus New Japan.
Yeah, and although we have AEW versus AEW, I don't think Tony Khan wants to book New Japan versus New Japan at all.
No.
We saw how that happened with Ring of Honor. That didn't go over so well. And considering that this is Dream Match, the dream match of dream matches, you give the people what they want, and what they want is Cesaro. No ifs, ands, or buts.
It's assuming that he hasn't re-signed with WWE, which is also rumored. So
It's rumored, but at the same time, I don't buy it. I'd believe it if it were to happen. But
I mean, a rumor is a rumor is a rumor. All these are rumors.
Yeah.
So
but I also I want to see Cesaro get a little bloody, get a little gutty, get a little Andy, and work under William Regal once more.
Yeah.
But let's give a little. You talked a little bit about the episode. We'll continue with the nutshell a bit. We had Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy versus United Empire. We had Christian Cage addressing his actions. Malachi versus Penta Oscuro for the All Atlantic Championship Tournament qualifier. We then had Silas Young versus Hangman Page. Great match. Which resulted in Okada coming out. And that's going to be a fatal 4-way at Forbidden Door. Then we had Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm. And finally, Jericho and Archer versus Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Great episode. All across the board. It wasn't a single really bad match.
Yeah. Did you talk about Marina and Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was a fantastic match. And that moment, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some news.
Sure. All right, news time. Time to talk about the news. There's a child screeching below me.
Cat.
No, that's a human child. Let's talk about some WWE news real quick, I guess. I think. I don't know. There's quite a bit of news. If you don't like spoilers for NXT UK, don't listen for the next 5 seconds. And if you don't like being pissed off, actually, don't listen for the next 5 seconds. There's spoilers from the NXT UK tapings. So at this point, it's interesting. For the tag titles, Oliver Carter is injured. So he and Ashton Smith, the two people that were like supposed to get the titles and like have been working very, 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 very diligently to get the titles.
Oh yeah.
The people who have the titles, unfortunately, Oliver Carter is injured, and Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith now have to vacate the titles. Sucks a lot because like they really worked hard for it. Mm-hmm. So they had a 4-way elimination match where there was Dave Mastiff and Jack Stars. There was Mark Andrews and Wild Boar and D Family. And the people who won were Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen.
I didn't mention them in the...
Right, because that's why I added them last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, what a missed opportunity to give it to Di Familia.
Literally, like, yeah, Jack Stars, Dave Mastiff, sure, whatever. Mark Andrews, Wild Boar, sure, I kind of get it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you've got a coherent, consistent group of good wrestlers. And you give it to Brooks and Jensen?
Now, I don't think out of those 4, I don't think Brooks and Jensen are the worst choice. Mark Andrews and Wild Boar, I think, is the worst choice.
Right, that's why I just went through the whole list. And yeah, those two are... The first 2 teams I mentioned are not anything to bat an eyelash at. But like...
I do think that Brooks and Jensen, they're a good team, and their gimmick, like, they're doing a good job with the gimmick that they have. But I don't think it's the right time for them to have a title.
Especially not the NXT UK title.
I'm hoping it's a very short stint that they got. Maybe Di Familia wins it in a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2.
Maybe. Moving quickly, though, because there is quite a bit of news. Jordan Devlin has a new name as he goes over to NXT 2.0.
I want to preface this by saying we didn't watch NXT last night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I kind of want to watch it every week now. I like it.
I exist through it. Anyways, Jordan Devlin has a new name. His new name is JD McDonough, which sounds like a kid I went to high school with.
Yeah. It's definitely like I understand why they changed Jordan Devlin because that's his real name. But Devlin, that's just that's a good name. JD McDonough is like you took the fact that he's Irish and you made that the gimmick.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, of course, Mark, he's got some semblance of a non-American culture. We've got to make it into a character.
Yeah. But I am looking forward to see what he does in NXT, all the matchups they could throw him with.
I literally have zero interest in seeing him. I cannot stand him in the slightest. No matter how much they foist him upon me, it's just...
Oh, should mention the reason that this is happening is because Devlin and Ilya Dragunov had a title match, which was Loser Leaves Town, or Loser Leaves NXT UK. And obviously Devlin lost, and that brings him over to NXT Prime.
It's like getting fired, but then getting promoted.
Essentially, yeah. You go over to corporate.
Yeah. Also in WWE news, Rhea Ripley obviously was removed from the Money in the Bank match. Why was Rhea Ripley removed from the Money in the Bank match? That is because she like, I didn't remember how this happened. I know it happened in a match, but like, she basically got thrown in a way that her body went towards the ropes, her foot hit the ropes, and then her knee, going back with the leg, hit her in the fucking forehead.
It was a DDT from Liv Morgan, which resulted her in rolling forward out of it, and then
conking herself.
Yeah.
And now she has a brain injury.
Also known as a concussion.
Well, it's listed as a brain injury, so I don't know if it's a concussion.
I feel like it's a good bet.
But yeah, so she was originally supposed to be facing Bianca Belair for the women's championship at Money in the Bank. And now it's Carmella for whatever fucking reason, because Carmella's the one person where they're like, hey, are you busy? No? Okay, come on.
I want you all to know Carmella hasn't wrestled in months.
Yeah.
And you've got this whole, like, when I first heard about this and them finding a replacement, my first instinct was Alexa Bliss. And I'm like, okay, that'd be a pretty good match. That you could make that work. But instead you pull Carmella out of nowhere, a person that hasn't built up a slew of wins recently, to go for it just as a throwaway feud for Bianca. And Alexa Bliss would be perfect because she can have a loss, and then, you know, she's kind of this enigma right now that can change over time. One loss doesn't really mean anything to her.
I don't know. Yeah. In addition to this WWE news, there's also more WWE news about people leaving and going. The most recent person to leave WWE is Dewey Foley, Mick Foley's son, who originally did a lot of the writing for 205 Live. Apparently, he left the company in April. He was not cut. He chose to leave. So I guess maybe like 205 Live ended and he was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, you said he was a writer?
Yeah. He did a lot of 205 Live stuff.
I can't imagine being a writer is any...
By a lot of 205 Live, I mean he was the lead 205 Live writer.
Okay. So he's not one of the people competing for storylines. No. Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna do? Write for Level Up, which has like no writing? Yeah. At least 205 Live, that was fun. I remember some great stuff. Even late 205 Live was decently fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that has come to a close. Also, in some not WWE news, we'll go back to WWE actually at the end of this, but not WWE news, Kushita debuted for New Japan.
Speaking of 205 Live.
Segue. Didn't even notice. But yeah, so Kushita is now in New Japan. I believe he's going to start wrestling soon. I don't think it's going to be during the G1, obviously, because the G1 has been announced. Yeah. And all the blocks have been decided. But
I think for Road I think they announced some tag matches. Where I think it's Taiji and someone versus Kushita and I think Bushi. I think he's teaming with LIJ right now. Mm-hmm. I think if my memory is correct. But they have already lined up some tag matches with Kushita. Yeah.
And speaking of New Japan, Will Ospreay announced that his father beat cancer, which, you know, good for his father.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great news. Then in some everything else news, grab bag, I don't know, potpourri as the Jeopardy would say. There is going to be wrestling returning to the Mall of America. Oh. Apparently, First Wrestling are going to host Saturday Night Nitro in lieu of WCW Nitro, having performed at Mall of America, on September 10th. So, and it's weird because I'm like, oh wow, September 10th, that's a while away. And now I like realize that if I think that too much, it's probably going to be September 10th tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it was only June 1st yesterday.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. A fun little rebirth of an era.
Yep.
Also, we have an update to the Wrestling Entertainment Series. They have a new card because they originally were supposed to go on last week or something, I think. They were originally scheduled for June 4th, but now it's being rescheduled for July 9th. And it's going to take place at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, England. And it's going to be on Fight TV in case you want to watch it for whatever reason.
That's the one put on by AOP, right?
Correctamundo. And the full lineup is as follows. Alistair Overeem versus Moose for the World Championship.
What World
Lena
Championship?
V.
Oh.
The only one. Lena Fanine, aka Nia Jax, versus CJ Perry, aka Lana, for the Women's World Championship. Then AOP versus BT Gunn and Kez Evans for the World Tag Team Championships. Then Steph DeLander, aka Persia Perota, and Anastasia versus She-Wolves, don't know who they are, for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Then we've got Samurai del Sol Callisto, aka Callisto, sorry, I skipped a word or two, versus Lince Dorado, which, the match we probably should have gotten in SmackDown a while ago and never got. And then we got Mojo Rawley, currently known as Dean Mutati, versus Damo Mackle, aka Killian Dane.
Big Damo.
And the pre-show is going to be Levis Valenzuela. Okay, I knew I was gonna fuck that up. Levis Valenzuela Jr., formerly known as No Way Jose, versus Jody Fleisch, and Eric Young versus Zack Zodiac.
Honestly, that doesn't sound like a bad card. Like, it's very well put together.
They lost Killer Cross, Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, Madison Rayne, Tennille Dashwood, Mike Bennett, Biff Busick, Dirty Dango, Wesley Blake, and Steve Macklin. So they did lose a lot, but they kind of made up for it.
Yeah, a lot of it now is matches that you can pretty much guess who's gonna win. Like AOP is definitely getting those tag titles. Moose is definitely getting that world title. But I'd watch it.
There's like somebody interesting in every single match, which is good for them,
Yeah, I wouldn't pay money for it, but I would pay time for it.
Also, speaking of other wrestling, Paige is going to be at StarCast V5. I don't know, whatever you want to fucking say it.
Cool.
So, good for her.
They've got like every big wrestler showing up there, whether it's guest starring on a podcast with Renee, actually wrestling, or just doing like a meet and greet. They got like everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Would love to not have been. I just got guided away from my bookmarks. Yeah. So could be awesome. Also, God, there's like so much shit. So I guess let's get into some WWE news. Because apparently John Laurinitis is on administrative leave. Bruce Pritchard was named interim head of talent.
Which is better.
It's not the worst thing, I guess. I don't know. And then in addition to that, several new law firms are investigating the WWE for the settlement and the fact that this affects shareholders.
Yeah.
There is Scott and Scott Attorneys who kind of started it. Then the Shaw law firm announced an investigation intended to focus on whether WWE issued false and or misleading statements and or failed to disclose information pertinent to investors. The Rosen law firm, the Brager, Eagle, and Squire and oh fuck me, I thought I was done with it. The Rosen law firm, separate law firm, and the Brager Eagle and Squire and Labaton Suchero. I don't know if that's all one name or not. It's not clear. Have also all sent out press releases about how they're investigating. Okay, that's three separate law firms. Labaton and Suchero is something else.
Okay.
Rosen's law firm is going to do a class action for investor losses. Brager, Eagle, and Squire's investigation is going to focus on whether WWE has violated the federal security laws and or engaged in other unlawful business practices. And Labaton Suchero is investigating potential violations of federal securities laws. Good fucking God.
I don't see any reality where WWE gets away scot-free in every one of these cases.
There can't be. No.
I could see them getting out on like maybe one or two, but all of them?
Well, I think the thing is that for a lot of the ones that are like trying to recoup investor losses, there's going to be losses.
Yeah.
And that's not hard to prove that the losses come at the same time as all of these claims from this woman. Like, whether they could be like, oh, this is bullshit or not. It doesn't matter. The losses are coming at the helm of these claims. And that it's probably not bullshit, so...
And a lot of these claims could also be to run WWE's law budget dry.
Right, no, that's... One thing that somebody said was that if you're a woman who was ever, like, mishandled by the WWE, now is the time to strike. And the law firms are doing exactly that on a different side of the coin.
Yeah.
Where they're like, well, they've got a weak spot.
Yeah, it's a tactic a lot of law firms have done, but I mean mostly in like single cases where you keep extending the case further and further so that the defendant or the prosecutor runs out of money.
Yeah.
You bleed them dry.
Yeah. All right, so last piece of news, because obviously we could talk about the WWE losing money every fucking day of this week. Booker T finally commented on his shitty little comments. The comments are very specifically as follows. And he is saying that these are taken out of context. It's a very long comment, so there's a lot of context that you would assume is already there. He said, if Adam Cole has ooh, I love talking. If Adam Cole has to have surgery and he's down for 6-9 months and he, loses any more muscle, it's going to be hard on this brother. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he's about $160. We got to get more weight on Adam Cole. You know what I mean? That's his problem. He's light, bottom light. We got to get some muscle on this kid. That's probably one of the reasons why he's going out there getting hurt, because it can't be the schedule at AEW. And now he's saying that those comments were taken out of context, and it's like,
no.
You gave the context. The context is in the quote.
Adam Cole's a fucking workhorse. Like he's been wrestling so much between his time in WWE and now here in AEW. It's just unfortunate getting injured, but it's not gonna stop him from getting injured. Like,
it's like, why, whether or not Adam Cole has like peak physique, I don't fucking know. I don't know what peak physique is anymore.
Like,
he's a good fucking wrestler. Why do we care? I don't get that.
Like Big E beef, or like, cause like he's just he's not chiseled. Like, I feel like Finn Balor is like the same size, just chiseled. And nobody talks about Finn Balor, breaking like a twig, or however Booker T put it. But Booker T's comments did bring out a lot of good support for Adam Cole from the wrestling community. Mike Bennett said something. Renee Paquette had some nice words. Eddie Kingston Eddie Kingston went off.
Yeah. Hangman had a nice tweet too, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand but this has also been the Booker T way for so long now, where Booker T opens his fucking mouth, says some dumb shit, and then has to backtrack and be like, "Oh, I didn't mean it." It's like, if you have to say "I didn't mean it" every fucking month, maybe you should stop saying things.
I mean, remember when he said that Andrade wasn't successful in WWE because he didn't speak English very well?
Yeah, and
meanwhile, you have Asuka, who speaks about the same amount of English as Andrade. She's a fucking star there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't blame Andrade's language skills on that.
Andrade still cuts like fun promos despite a heavy accent.
Yeah, and there have been ways to deal with heavy accents or broken English. Managers, as we see with Andrade now, he's got Jose. Like
yeah,
Booker T acts like, I don't know. Booker T acts so high and mighty in the, and a lot of it could just be, you know, getting headlines.
Yeah. I mean, you know, his podcast got talked about, so
yeah,
there's that.
Yep.
Anyways, that's all I've got for news. It just pissed me off, and that Booker T was like, "I didn't mean it." It's like, yeah, but you kind of did.
Why say it in the first place then?
Well, like the fact that he's like, it's out of context, and I'm like, I just read the whole quote. I don't really know what context I needed outside of the fact, like, unless the context was, I've heard some people saying, quote, I think they're wrong.
Yeah.
That's the only way that could have been taken out of context and not meant what you meant.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Let's talk about Dynamite.
Dynamite. I'm taking this down.
Although the matches were great today, I think the promos were even better. This was a wonderful promo and segment episode. So to start off the show, Bryan Danielson came out, starting off with the thing everyone wants to know, more so than Jay White's opponent. So Bryan Danielson, he says, this week is a great week to be an AEW fan. This week is a great week to be a professional wrestling fan. Sunday we've got Forbidden Door, an interpromotional pay-per-view with the two best pro wrestling companies in the world. Oof. You're going to see some excellent pro wrestling, and a week from today on Dynamite, you get nearly the complete opposite with the bloody spectacle that is Blood and Guts. I was expecting to be a part of both of those. Jericho made the self-proclaimed best technical wrestler Zack Sabre Jr. challenge me. He claims he's better than Bryan Danielson. I was not only excited to prove that wasn't true, but I was also gonna crush his trachea. I was excited to get into Blood and Guts to get back at Jericho and his flaccid crew of coxes. I've got some good news and some bad news. The bad news, because of what Jericho and Hager did, I am not cleared to compete either at Forbidden Door or Blood and Guts. But lest anyone be concerned about my overall health, you can tell my mind is at 100% capacity. So don't worry about me coming back. He's very much not trying to do what happened in WWE, where he had this sad send-off for his retirement. Because he has his history of this, he wants to make sure that nobody thinks he's retiring. I broke my neck, dislocated my shoulder, detached my retina, and there's no one that can wrestle in this ring like I do. That's not even the good news. Here's the good news. Eddie Kingston has gone on record to say I'm a judgmental prick. You're damn right I am. And because I'm a judgmental prick, I have really high standards. So you know that when I promise you something is going to be amazing, it is going to be amazing. I have found the one person I trust to take my place at Forbidden Door. The one person I trust to take my place at Blood and Guts. The one person I know who will take it to Zack Sabre Jr. and kick Jericho's head in at Blood and Guts. You are all going to be astounded by what he does in AEW. Who? Don't you guys know I came out of the bad guy tunnel? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell Zack Sabre Jr. either. Tune in Sunday, and you're going to see the greatest technical match of your lives. Who's the best technical wrestler in the world? And then Zack Sabre Jr. comes out and starts yelling at Bryan Danielson, calling him dickhead, dickhead, dickhead.
And darling. And darling in the same fucking breath.
Darling dickhead.
Charming of him. I love it.
Pretty sure he shouted fuck at one point.
I'm sure he did. He's used to New Japan.
Yeah.
But they don't have rules over there.
I mean, he's also worked in WWE and
yeah, but he's been in New Japan for so long. He's like, oh, we can't say fuck.
Yeah. I mean, GOD, they didn't seem to have any problems coming to Impact. Unless they had to retape some stuff.
There was a very clear point where Tama was on the mic and very nearly said fuck and had to like physically just go and like come back to keep talking because he was like, oh, I can't do that.
Why do you think Zack didn't cut any promos today? Speaking of promos and BCC, Jon Moxley had a promo. He says sometimes it's business, sometimes it's personal. Next week will be personal. What an ego trip from JAS. Jericho blinded my friend with a fireball and put my partner on the shelf. We found out they could fight next week. We found out they could survive. We found out they could fight. Next week we found out they could survive. But Santana and Ortiz survived the streets. Eddie survived the business. And Yuta survived everything we threw at him. Men like that, driven by money, fame, ego, will find out how much they're willing to suffer and endure inside that bloody steel cage. This Sunday, there's the matter of the AEW World Championship against Tanahashi. This means more to me than you can imagine. This Sunday, I finally transform into what I always knew I could be when I step into the ring with the Ace. This Sunday, it is personal. Once that bell rings, I have no respect for anyone. Wonderful promo. And then we get Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open.
Yeah. We start with Rocky and Kyle Fletcher. I don't catch much of this, but they Trent gets in and he and Rocky bring some big knees into abdomen. And then Mark Davis gets in. He hits a huge boot to the face of Trent. We get a suplex to Mark, and then Trent and Rocky send Mark over their knees. Then we get Orange Cassidy and Rocky diving out onto Kyle and Mark, but they get caught and then like sent into Trent, sandwiching him. United Empire then powerbomb all three men into the apron. Back in the ring, Orange Cassidy kicks Mark, manages a top of the head DDT to Kyle, and then Rocky comes out of nowhere with a Hurricane Rana to Ospreay. And then he gets sent ringside before all of Best Friends dive out onto United Empire. I wrote UE and every time I want to say Undisputed Era. But they all dive out onto United Empire successfully this time. Nobody gets caught. Then Orange Cassidy and Ospreay go against each other, and Ospreay kicks the absolute shit out of the face of Orange Cassidy. And then Cassidy reverses a powerbomb of sorts into a Stun Dog Millionaire. We then get Rocky and Mark Davis, and then they chop each other for a little bit until Mark drops Rocky with a hard right hand. Kyle Fletcher then swings Mark into Rocky. We get some tag team offense powerbomb shit to Rocky. Rocky then causes Kyle to end up kicking Mark Davis. Gets a sliced bread to Fletcher, then an enziguri to Davis, and then we go back and forth on one another. It's like one of those things where, like, you know, Orange Cassidy gets in the ring and he does this to Mark, and then Mark does X, Y, and Z to fucking Trent, and then Trent does X, Y, and Z to, you know. Then we get Trent in versus Kyle. He wants the strong zero, but Ospreay ends up kicking Trent. Trent gets pile driven, for lack of a better word, into the mat. And then Davis gets like a pile driver of his own off onto Trent. Rocky then dives onto Ospreay. Trent avoids Aussie Open's Coriolis and then DDT's Mark Davis. we get Cassidy in versus a very stunned Kyle Fletcher, who has absolutely no chance against what is coming to him, which is the Orange Punch. Cassidy gets the Orange Punch to win.
Yeah. This was a ridiculously fun match.
Yeah.
AEW's been killing the multi-man matches, and you know what? If they're producing the matches at Forbidden Door, I don't care if they're multi-man matches anymore. But I've got a little injury update. Someone in AEW, a little breaking news, except this is from earlier today. Apparently the bunny is injured.
Yeah.
Don't know from what, but she said she'll be back in the ring once she's healed up. So
Yeah.
if you're wondering why she's been off TV, that's exactly why.
I just assumed she was off TV because she was a female wrestler, and we don't really see many of them.
But she hasn't even been on Dark or Elevation. I don't remember what she got injured from or could have gotten injured from. I hope it wasn't the match against Tony. But I don't remember any other match she's had after that.
Should have also gotten injured training.
True. Or even
putting the dishes away.
Yeah. Who was it that got injured and said it was nothing wrestling related?
Oh, I don't know. But I know what you're talking about. There was like somebody who was like, wasn't it?
I thought it was
Well,
Leo
Randy.
Rush.
Oh, yes, I think it was. Because I know that Randy like has dislocated his shoulder taking out the trash.
I just remember, I think it was Leo Rush saying that
I think
he was
so
injured
too.
and had nothing to do.
Well,
no. It was Darius Martin.
Yeah, because Darius Martin got into a car accident, like a horrible car accident.
Right, that's right.
And like he like smashed his arm.
Oh man.
So, yeah, because people were like, "Oh my God, how could he get injured wrestling again?" He was like, "It literally wasn't wrestling. That's how." We live outside of the ring too.
Dude is so unlucky.
Yeah, shit sucks. Luckily, he's young.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Got a lot to do still.
So then we get backstage. Well, first with this match, after this match, Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan come out to support United Empire. Kind of breaks out into a little bit of a brawl, but then FTR comes out and backs Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy. And then we got a little 5-on-5 action before going backstage to see Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay says, "We're celebrating, we're going to India, baby." Jay says, "The celebration is yet to come, and that's me being Ring of Honor Television Champion. You're almost out of time, buddy. 2 options. 1, you tape that shoulder up and defend it against me. 2, you relinquish the title and it goes to the number 1 contender, me." This feud's, I mean, I know it's because Joe's been injured, but this feud feels like it's been going on forever.
I know.
Like,
been 84 years.
You would think they would give, like, Jay and Satnam something else in the meantime. Fill some time. Satnam's had 1 match. Give him a little more. Give him some reps. So then, we have probably one of the best promos that's not from MJF or CM Punk in a long time. Christian Cage comes out.
Best is a stretch of the word.
I thought this was an incredible promo.
I just think that there are some things I don't like in promos that he did.
Well, here's what he said. He said, "You didn't think I was gonna let Jungle Boy eliminate me from the Casino Battle Royal last year and get away with it." Love that he brought that up. Yeah, it's petty, but you know what's more bothersome to me? The reaction from each one of you when I was eliminated. I deserve more than to be cheered when I'm eliminated. Not to mention the fact that Jungle Boy cost me a roster bonus and a title fast track. Maybe if these people enjoyed Jungle Boy, I should do a little background check on him. So I decided against my better judgment to go on social media and find out more. You have losers like these people tweeting like you know anything about this business. I don't need your comments about what I should be doing. I've got it figured out, thanks. Jungle Boy cost me a lot of money. He's pretty damn talented, so I was going to hitch my wagon onto that train until the wind went dry. You think I came back to elevate younger talent? No, that's bullshit. I came back to make a ton of money. I hear other people complaining about money. I have advice. Try having a match people talk about more than a week after it happens. The type of match that parents sit their kids down in front of. The type of match they make pay-per-views in front of. I said I was going to recoup that money from you, and you have the talent, but you don't have that killer instinct. The one time I don't have you, or the one time I don't give you that pre-match advice, you lose the tag team championships. It's like the saying goes, you want something done right, do it yourself. I need to get my hands dirty. I was only giving Jungle Boy's mom the chance to apologize to me for giving birth to a Jungle Boy, and that was after they played what Christian said to Jungle Boy's mom, saying, you raised a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think she's a little sweet on Christian Cage. I think she wanted me to be Jungle Boy's father. I know Jungle Boy looked at me like a father figure, but I never wanted to be your father. You have a father, but your father's dead.
Yeah, that's where I kind of tuned out a little bit. I was like, I don't like when we do that. I think that's really classless.
That's probably...
I don't care if they agreed on it backstage. It's just not my cup of tea.
I mean, you want heat, and it's an easy way to get it.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, punching a dog in the middle of the ring is an easy way to get heat. I wouldn't do it.
I don't think it's as classless as, like, Dan Lambert's misogyny or other various low-hanging fruit. Like crowd sports team shit. But he says, that's probably a good thing because he'd be ashamed to see how you turned out. And I hope you enjoy this early retirement. Stay gone because of you. And then he's interrupted by Luchasaurus coming out. He chokes Christian. But then Christian says, remember what happened to Marco. You're like a son to me. We need to talk, but not here. And then he hugs Luchasaurus. Now, I'm going to put this down as, like, sleeper story of the year. Because if this goes the right direction, we get Luchasaurus turning on Jungle Boy. And this whole development with Luchasaurus and Christian, I don't know. I think this is going to be an amazing story that paid off at the right time.
Could be.
It's had so
really
much build up. It's been teased so much, and it's referencing shit from fucking last year. Christian's the perfect guy for it too. Heel Christian's amazing. And you also love to see a money-hungry heel that actually makes sense about the money he's talking about, like bonuses from winning the Battle Royal, or fast track to the title, and recouping losses by hitching on to Jungle Boy. It's all very well thought out. So then, after that, we get a promo with the Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly. Matt says, take a look at these, huh? They're back on the best tag team in the world. He's talking about the championships. Tag division is #1. First ever 2-time AEW tag team champions. Bucks, are you going to be on the or we know what you're thinking. Bucks, are you going to be on the pay-per-view? I think it's a safe bet we're going to be there. Kyle says, Sting should be locked up for what he did. If my hands weren't legal weapons, I'd sue his ass. But we have Hikuleo and El Phantasmo to team with you guys against Sting and his cronies. And we know who Sting's cronies are, but we'll find that out later. Then we get Malachi Black versus Penta Oscuro. All-Atlantic Championship Tournament qualifier.
Yes. So we have a little bit of a face-off, a little bit of a Cero Miedo, and then a failed heel kick. Penta ends up diving onto Malachi after this from the ring. Then we're on the apron for a little bit. Malachi kicks the legs of Penta, slams him into the barricade, like one after the other. Back in the ring, though, we get a Cazadora to Malachi and a crossbody lateral press. And then Penta unleashes the loudest chop I have heard in a very long time. But Penta, sweet boy, Penta landed a little funky when he dove out onto Malachi, and it kind of hurt his back. So Penta can't drive Malachi into the apron. He can't get the fear factor because his back is hurting. A relatable thing that I think we can all understand.
Yeah.
Same here, Penta. That's also why I can't do a fear factor. My back's hurting. Hi, Bubby. Malachi wants the black mass. Penta ducks it, hits the enziguri, goes for another fear factor on the apron, but this time he lifts Malachi into the ring, which I was like, that seems like an interesting turn of physics, but fine.
Ignore the pain for 5 seconds.
Ignores the pain enough to also twist the back and get Malachi into the ring. Anyways, we get a rolling cutter to Malachi. Malachi then is put up top. We get another chop to his chest. Malachi ends up getting kind of the upper hand, though. Goes for a double stomp off the buckles, but Penta avoids it. Doesn't avoid the double knee strike, though. And then a double foot stomp lands on Penta, but it's not enough to get Malachi the win. Penta goes for the fear factor off the top rope, gets it, but this time, as one would imagine, doing a fear factor off the fucking apron implies that you're landing on your whole ass off, or sorry, not off the apron, I don't know what I'm talking about, off the top rope. You're landing on your whole ass off the top rope. So if your back hurts, doing that's not going to feel much better. Anyways, Penta can't cover. He gets hit with a black mass for Malachi to win. Shocker, I know.
Oh, yeah. But still, very fun match. Malachi is going to kill it, and Penta, I hope they can get him on next week to make up for not being able to be on Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
But after the match, everyone in the Fatal 4-Way, aside from Tomohiro Ishii, comes out. So Pac and is it just Pac that comes out? Because it's Pac.
Yes, I don't believe Phoenix came out.
Okay. But then
and
Miro,
Alex was already out there.
Yeah. Miro then comes on the Tron and says, "God, is this your apology to me? All I wanted was my God, my gold, and my hot wife. I will walk through the forbidden door, dragging the bastards and the pagans with me. This Sunday, when I send you to meet your maker, you tell your coward the Redeemer wants to talk." God, I can't wait to see him with that belt and have the longest reign in pro wrestling history. 2,000 days, I can see it now. 2,000-day reign. It'll be fucking 6 years from now. So great. 6 years, maybe 7 years. Maybe 8. He's never letting go of that. He's gonna die with that belt.
Okay.
Just imagine he wins that belt and Lana comes out holding it.
She could.
Yeah. If she's not busy with, I think she's doing TV and movie stuff now.
Well, clearly she's not, because she's doing the Wrestling Entertainment Series thing.
Oh, yeah.
So she can't be too busy.
True. I just see her on Instagram, like, doing training for movies, like martial arts shit. But after that, we get a video package for Wardlow. He says, "Scorpio, when you're healed and ready, I welcome you into Wardlow's world."
I'm glad you got to do that.
It's so... It's not a way to start your push. I'll just end it at that. So then we get Silas Young versus Hangman Page.
Yeah. And this wasn't that much of a match, in my opinion. we get a lot of avoiding shit, flipping each other, wrist locks, and getting up quickly after getting shoved to the ground. A kick to Silas finally lands, though. And then we kind of exchange some chops. We get a boot to Hangman's midsection and the moonsault onto Silas. Beautiful. So much height. We then get a back body drop to Silas. Silas ain't getting shit in. Manages a backbreaker and a lariat to Hangman, and then a Death Valley driver. Almost ends on his feet off the Death Valley driver too, which is actually quite interesting. And then we get a funky moonsault to Hanger where like he kind of like goes. Jungle Boy does something similar to this, where like he goes off the top rope, bounces on the rope itself, and then goes for the moonsault. Hangman avoids it though, kind of ruins the mojo. And then he suplexes Silas and then hits him with a buckshot to win. And Adam Cole, who was on commentary, was devastated.
Also, before we move on to the rest of this, at Wrestling Covers on Twitter tweeted that Excalibur said that it will be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club that will face Zack Sabre Jr.
Well, yes, and the way that Brian said something about what this guy's going to bring to AEW, I was like, oh, okay, so he's not in AEW.
Right. And it's not somebody already in a faction, i.e., Jonathan Gresham, and somebody not in an existing promotion, Josh Alexander.
Listen, if it's not Cesaro, I'm gonna fucking...
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little feral about it.
There would be some backlash if that were the case.
Backlash? WrestleMania backlash?
No, the opposite. So after the match, Adam Cole gets off commentary and he says, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" Jay White comes out. And he's like, "Sorry to interrupt. Story time with Adam Cole, baby."
He doesn't say the baby. The crowd finishes it for him.
He says, "I feel like I owe you an explanation. Over the last week, I've given it a lot of thought. I'm responsible for all this as the catalyst of professional wrestling. That means I'm responsible for making Forbidden Door as big as it can be. As much as I'd like to make it about Bullet Club and Undisputed Elite, my opponent still can't be you." Yes, you have something to say?
I just think it's funny that at the beginning of all of this, when it was first announced, when Obari came out with Tony and Adam Cole interrupted it, and then Jay came out, and Jay was like, "This is about Bullet Club and the Undisputed Elite." And now he's like, "As much as I'd like to make it about us." I'm so sorry, sweetie. Like, Jay, this is your fault.
I mean, half of that match is Undisputed Elite and Bullet Club.
I just think it's funny that he was like, "You know, I know I said this, however."
Mm-hmm. Then he says, "Because you lost, or my opponent still can't be you, because you lost to him." He points to Adam Page twice. "But Hangman, I know it's you and Milwaukee, and you're dying to know who I'm going to face at Forbidden Door. I can tell you who it won't be. It won't be you." Hangman then attacks Jay White. Hangman then lays out Cole, but Cole low blows Hangman, and Jay starts beating down on him. But Cole sees on the canvas the belt, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, so he grabs it. Jay turns around and sees him, so Cole's like, "Pick up Hangman. I'm gonna smash him with it." But before he could do that, Okada comes out, Kazuchika Okada, and he attacks Jay White and Adam Cole, and the whole brawl ensues. And that's that. And then it was revealed that the match for the championship will be a fatal four-way: Jay White, Okada, Hangman, and Adam Cole. Who do you see getting pinned here?
Adam Cole.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Now, question
By
is...
Mr. Jay White.
do you think Cole's still gonna be in Bullet Club after this is over?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's technically in Bullet Club anyway. I think
Not really. Not right now.
Undisputed Elite, I don't think is like House of Torture. Like, it's not technically a part of Bullet Club. I think they're just affiliated. Like the OC. It's not Bullet Club, but you could tell it's Bullet Club adjacent.
Yeah.
So then we get an interview with Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, and Stokely Hathaway. Stokely says, we can cry about Velvet, or we can understand the show goes on. Kiera says, Chris, the joke is on you. Jade says, oh wait, no. Stokely says, and I have great news. We're looking for a new baddie. Use hashtag baddie search. Tell us why you should be a baddie. And Jade says, and to keep it 100, you have to be a top-notch bitch. And then Stokely says, and please, keep the photos PG. And they walk away, and Jade specifically turns around, and she says, and Tony, cut the shit. Best gimmick in all of pro wrestling. It's so great. Then we get an interview with Chris Statlander and Athena. And they're kind of going back and forth, mocking them. They say, we heard there's an opening to be a baddie. We can be sexy like them. We can find out what Jade smells like. We can be a top-notch bitch. It is unfortunate about Velvet's situation. But it doesn't matter if you get 20 baddies, we'll floor those hussies. Nobody can get in our way. Stokely learned that. Athena was like, oh yeah, like you slapped his bald head. Chris says, do your baddie search. We have the powerhouse Willow Nightingale. And then Athena says, oh, and Jade, cut the shit. It's so great.
Also, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
Kenta back on his bullshit. He tweeted 3 minutes ago, hashtag forbidden door, knock, knock, ... are you there?
My man's in Florida golfing. He's not making it
Kenta,
up to
where
Chicago.
are you fitting in? I want Kenta. No, you know what I want? I want Kenta to fly to Chicago, and I want Kenta to sit on commentary and just talk mad shit about whoever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
That's what I want from him.
He should step in the Jericho Appreciation Society match. And just fuck up everyone. Because doesn't he hate Moxley? Or did he team... No, he teamed up with Kenny, right? No, Kenny teamed up with Lance.
It'd be funny for him to cut into the Mox Tana match and be like, Tana, you fucked up my hip.
Oh,
and still be like a little pissed about that.
Yeah. Kenta just like walks out with Tony Khan and demands like he be entered in the match.
He's like, well, CM Punk isn't here, so I guess I own the go to sleep.
It's gonna be so fucked up if we don't ever get that match.
Well, somebody had to go and break their fucking foot.
Tony Khan will probably give us Sammy Guevara versus Kenta. Battle over the GTH.
I want Sammy to call it the GTH and for Kenta to be like, what? What the fuck are you saying?
So then after that promo, we get Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm.
Also, I didn't realize, but apparently when Miro started talking about his gorgeous wife, they cut to Pac rolling his eyes.
Wow. Pac's gonna be rolling the eyes at the back of his head once he gets laid out by Miro, the Redeemer.
Anywho, so we get a boot to the chest of Tony. Marina kind of does a funky little roll up into a cross arm breaker, but Tony gets to the ropes quickly. Then Marina goes to like get like kind of heel hook on Tony. Tony gets out of that. Marina sweeps the leg of Tony and just kind of stares at her for a second before a high kick takes Tony to the ground. Then Nyla takes advantage of the fact that the referee's not paying attention. Then tons on to Tony. And then Tony starts hauling off, just slugging Marina. We get a headbutt to Marina, but a boot to the entire tits sends Tony out of the ring. We get a DDT, though, ringside to Marina, and then bless our souls. Back in the ring, we get a hip attack to Marina that just snaps her fucking cranium.
Oh my god.
They tried to play it off like, oh, well, Nyla pulled Marina's hand so that she was, like, away from the buckle when Tony, like, went in with her hip attack. And I was like, that's not what the camera showed, but okay. Sure. Marina then wants a suplex on Tony, but Tony just kind of rolls her up and wins.
Yeah, it kind of protects Marina. But isn't that how Thunder Rosa beat Marina? With a roll up?
Yeah.
Marina's got to learn to counter those roll ups. Probably got too much muscle in those legs. They weigh her down a lot.
Sure.
When they're on top of you, I'm sure. So then we get a promo from Sting and Darby Allin. Darby says, "You know what we did to Bobby Fish at Rampage? What do we have here? You think we're gonna come alone? We have 2 members of our own, Shingo and Hiromu. We'll take you guys out. It continues this Sunday." And Sting says, "We'll keep kicking bodies down the hill until nobody's left. At Forbidden Door, it's showdown."
Beautiful rendition, actually.
Thank you.
That might be one of your best impressions. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but also the way that Darby decided to say Hiromu. Like, I don't recognize that man, but okay.
Now, I know a lot of people wanted Darby versus Hiromu, which, yes, that would have been a fantastic match. I wonder if we'll get that after Forbidden Door. And it would be very interesting if after Forbidden Door, some of these AEW wrestlers went over to Japan for a hot minute.
Yeah.
But the team of Sting, Darby, Hiromu, and Shingo, it's revealed to be dudes with attitudes. And when you see Shingo Takagi, do you think he's a dude with an attitude? What?
Imagine going up to Shingo and being like, "Hey, you're a dude with attitude." He'd be like,
he gives you a pumpkin bomber.
Yeah. He's like, I don't fucking want to hear that.
It's Sting definitely came up with that name 100%.
Yeah. No. I was also going to say that some people are really saying that it's Lee Moriarty that's gonna be Zack's opponent.
No, it's not Lee.
Which doesn't make sense because Lee Moriarty's already been on AEW. He's been here.
And he's not joining Blackpool Combat Club. They already got one young dude. They got Yuta as their young guy. That's all they wanted. They only wanted one. Cesaro, he can also be considered a young guy because he was kind of under Daniel Bryan's wing in WWE for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, why the fuck would Bryan Danielson trust Lee Moriarty with like his life? It makes no sense. You'd trust Cesaro because he's worked with Cesaro for a very long time. But anyway, sorry, Claudio. Castagnoli, Claudio Cameraman. We then get a video package for Fenix and Andrade, teasing their match for Rampage, which that will be an incredible match. And it's definitely to make up for the fact that they won't be able to go to Forbidden Door, so good of Tony Khan to get them on Rampage. Get him a little paycheck.
Especially because Andrade kind of seemed like he got fucked a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure. He took time off to get married. I'm sure that took a lot out of his finances. Definitely wanted some way to recoup that.
Mm-hmm.
And a big pay-per-view would have done just that.
Yeah.
But then we get the main event. Chris Jericho and Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Welcome, Idro. Welcome to the chat.
Hey, Drew. There's this picture of Davey Richards cleaning up Tom Lawler's cuts. And I'm just like, wow. Davey. Fucking moonlighting as a... Well, I mean, he is a fireman, so moonlighting as the thing that you do in the daylight.
Daylighting.
Moonlighting as a wrestler, moonlighting as a fireman, and daylighting as a fireman.
Yep. Sure.
That works. So yeah. We start with Tana versus Lance, sort of. It's kind of a brawl. Lance just fucking drops Tana. Drags him to the Jericho Appreciation Society corner. Jericho gets in. Tana gets Jericho against the buckle, splashes him. We then get Mox in. Okay. Jericho gets sent over the ropes by Mox. And then Sammy kind of tries to noodle his way in there, but he gets sent away by Mox, and then Jericho takes advantage of the fact that Mox is not paying attention to him, clotheslines him, then seesaws him into the ropes. Lance gets in, though. He sidelines the shit out of Mox. And then we get Jericho versus Tana. We get a clothesline to Jericho, and then Lance takes... clothesline to Jericho. Then Tana takes Lance off the apron. We get a cross by Jericho. And then an inside cradle. Lance ends up going after Mox, though. Mox goes into the ring. Mox then dives onto Lance. It's fucking goofy. It's very New Japan. Because, like, Mox bops out. Lance bops out. Mox bops in. Lance is like, what the fuck? And then he gets just fucking tackled and was like... we then get a failed Judas effect. Tana pops... I called Jericho Judas in my notes. That wasn't on purpose.
Because you were popping out to Judas.
How could you not? He pops Jericho into the mat and then flies on to Jericho, but Jericho ends up rolling through. He gets the walls of Jericho. And then in the background, you just get Mox, because Mox and Lance are still ringside, kind of like recovering. And you just see Mox tuck and roll in the background, but on the ringside floor. You just see Mox down, legs.
Lance, like, darts to the corner. I think what happened was he, like, tripped Mox and then backed away. This whole time, I thought they were blading because they dipped their heads for a while. But no blood was shed.
Without the context, it's fucking hilarious just to see Mox just...
Yeah.
Like... We then get a stunner to Jericho from Moxley. Lance hits the big boot to him, to Moxley. Tana then sling blades Lance. It's another one of those, like, he does this to him, and then he does this to him, and then he does this to him, and it's like... Then we exchange some bows between Mox and Archer in a paradigm shift to Lance. Tana goes up top, hits the frog splash, and pins Lance to win.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty expected. Everyone here has been a world champion except Lance Archer. Which, he should get a title in AEW. That'd be nice.
He should.
TNT belt. All-Atlantic belt, maybe. After Miro.
Maybe.
But that's the recap. Well, I guess after the match, Fucking
please, after the match.
everyone from JAS and Blackpool Combat Club comes out and starts brawling. Surprised we got no El Desperado, considering he was there last week for one single appearance, not even in a match.
Despy had a hard enough time flying back to Japan. He probably was like, no, so sorry, not happening.
Yeah. Oh, and Suzuki came out too. Yeah, it was just a huge brawl at the end. Suzuki put a bucket of popcorn on Yuta's head. That was great. And yeah, it feels like, I mean, they're doing a good job with promoting both Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts at the same time.
Yeah.
I was worried that they would focus so much on Forbidden Door that, you know, they'd only have like 1 week, less than a week for Forbidden Door, Blood and Guts. But here we are.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the recap. Liz, would you like to talk about the bests of the night?
Real quick, can we just talk about the fact that while all this is going down, while everybody is fucking feuding on the ringside area, Eddie Kingston's got a chair over his head waiting to hit anybody that comes near him. Mox and Tan are just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, just standing and like talking. Like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass. And Tan was like, yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Anyways, go on.
Let's talk about promo of the night. And there is with this a lot to consider. Bryan Danielson's promo was great. And the best part about that is wondering what's to come, hyping up Forbidden Door. That promo probably did the best job of that. But I very much enjoyed Christian's promo because he got that heat and he's connecting the storyline in a very well thought out way, referencing back to last year's Casino Battle Royal, and the way it ended with Luchasaurus makes the future uncertain for what it's going to look like, and it doesn't involve a title at all. I think that's the best part. Same with Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. It doesn't involve a fucking title, and it's still a great job. Now I know you've got what you're considering with what Christian dropped about Jungle Boy's father, and that's perfectly reasonable. It is low hanging fruit. But I still think it was a very it's a piece of the well thought out puzzle, this promo. But you also, another promo to consider, Jay White's with Hangman. Pretty short, but having Okada come out was really great. I also very much enjoyed Chris and Athena making fun of the baddies. That was great.
True.
And then there's Mox's promo too. Mox had a great promo. Don't want to forget that one. It also hyped up Blood and Guts very much. But I'll leave it in your hands. Promo of the night.
I'm gonna give it to Danielson. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And he kind of struck a balance between, you know, he came out the heel tunnel, but he's also fighting the heels.
Yeah.
Gotta teeter that line. All right, let's talk about Wrestler of the Night, shall we?
Yes.
All right. Here are your 3 choices. Penta Oscuro.
Okay.
Will Ospreay. Orange Cassidy. I'll throw in a 4th, Rocky Romero, because he was great too.
I'm gonna give it to Orange Cassidy.
Fair. Very
Ospreay
fair.
didn't do that much today. In terms of what Ospreay normally does, Ospreay did not do that much today.
I thought it was mostly just selling the shit out of Roppongi Vice, and Ospreay's always been really good at that. You know, selling his ass off, especially especially against Nick Wayne at GCW. He made the kid look like a star, and I mean Nick Wayne is a star, but
I didn't see it.
oh, I saw clips. My God, that match is a sight to behold. All right. So Orange Cassidy is our wrestler of the night. Now let's talk about match of the night. And I feel like we'll be in agreement on this. But as always, we go from the worst match to the best match of the night. We'll talk about which match is the match of the night. And the worst match of the night is not a bad one at all. With a 6 out of 10, Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm. I mean, it was a great match, but obviously you still had Nyla Rose's assistance. It was on the shorter side because Tony Khan does not like to book women in long matches. Also, why did Nyla come out with Marina?
I think just to kind of give her a bit of a push.
I'm trying to think like kayfabe reasons, but I can't.
Because they're both heels. That's all I can give you.
I don't even think Nyla has a thing against Tony specifically, but could be wrong. But Nyla is definitely somebody that will help Marina get over.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Tony Khan is very determined to get Marina Shafir over.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, next up with a 7 out of 10, Jericho and Archer versus Moxley and Tanahashi. I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought this was a great tag match. Jericho always impresses me with what he can do at his age.
Yeah.
Like you could watch him wrestle and you would not think he would have decades of experience wearing him down. Tanahashi too. This match was gold with New Japan flavor. Next, 7 out of 10, Silas Young versus Adam Page. I thought this was a really fun match. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it was just brutal, some Ring of Honor goodness.
Don't lick my foot. Sorry.
I'll try not to.
I don't like when the cat licks my foot.
But yeah, it was nice seeing Adam Page go up against a big dude as big as Silas Young.
Yeah.
Next,
sure.
7 out of 10, Penta Oscuro versus Malachi Black. Oh my God, great match. It the back injury being sold throughout was a good little storyline thrown in. And that Avalanche what Fear Factor, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That could have easily been the finish, but I'm glad they sold the injured back instead. But my pick for match of the night, and I have a feeling it is yours too, Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice versus United Empire. This was just fantastic.
I concur.
And watching this and watching Nick Wayne versus Will Ospreay. Ospreay is a very good balance of flippy shit, but also like making it still seem like it's actual fighting. Like counters, his moves actually having practicality, and not just like Dante Martin or Ray Fenix, just like flippy shit for the sake of flippy shit. No disrespect to them.
Yeah.
But that's our match of the night. Liz, I forgot to mention, if anyone has any questions, leave it in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. We'll get to it in the next one. If you're listening on Spotify, join us at twitch.tv/Pinfall Podcast to chat with us live, or DM us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast. If you have a question for us on Twitch now, ask it while we do the closeout. If any come in, we will answer it. will stop the closer. So Liz, would you like to close out the show?
Beat the clock. If you join us tonight, thank you so much. And if you join us in the future, thank you so much. I uploaded a bunch of episodes to Spotify, so that should satiate your listening for at least a little while. Please tune in tomorrow for our Impact show that
Yes.
I won't be around for, I don't think.
We will be doing our predictions for Forbidden Door.
I might not be here for it, but I sure can try. I'll be back before 10 o'clock. I can tell you as much as that.
Okay, I may have to take all the notes on Impact, but...
You may, but I mean, it's Impact. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
If you had to choose either day.
Plus, it's a post pay-per-view, so it shouldn't be too bad. Idro asks, will one or both of y'all be applying to be Jade's baddies?
Pepita is.
Let's make this a would you. Would you be one of Jade's baddies?
Yes, absolutely, I would be.
Yeah.
Gets me one step closer to kissing her.
One step closer to saying, Tony, cut the shit. To Tony's face.
See, that's why Mark would sign up. I would sign up to kiss Jade.
Mm-hmm.
But Pepita is signing up first. She's already got the Twitter application.
True.
Pepita, are you a baddie?
I mean, we could just fill out the social media hashtag and pictures and stuff. Wasn't there... John Silver wanted to make the Saddies section, which I'm down for. That's my section. I'll join the Saddies.
But yeah, check out Pepita. She'll be in the baddie section next.
Idro also asked a more serious question. Any chance we'll be doing a watch-along for Forbidden Door? I want to. I think we should.
I thought that we had officially decided that.
Well, we said we were going to do a Twitter poll.
Oh, I think that we're gonna do it because I think I want to do it too.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I think a watch along would be the best option for that. So yeah. And
now that we have a mystery opponent, it'll be even more interesting to watch along. And that will be here at twitch.tv/Pinfall Podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be
you can watch me. You can watch me lust over technical wrestling in real time. All right. I don't think I had anything else to say in my closeout, so.
All right. Remember, Forbidden Door predictions tomorrow during the Impact post show. Maybe a little wonky depending on what your schedule is like. Yes, Idro, we will be doing it on Twitch. Will not be uploaded to YouTube unless I can maybe cut it down and just grab some highlights. But thank you all so much for watching. Follow and subscribe. Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, Twitter. It's all Pinfall Podcast. Join us tomorrow for the Impact post show as well as our predictions for Forbidden Door. And then obviously Sunday during Forbidden Door will be our watch along. No post show. We'll be you'll get all of our feelings as we're doing it. So and we'll do the dabs too.
Yeah.
Because that only makes sense.
Yeah.
And find out who will be crowned the Pinfall Podcast Prediction Champion. I am running away with this shit.
All right. Thanks,
One
everyone who tuned in tonight.
Oh my God.
We really appreciate it, and we love you all very, very much.
We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night. Great to start your Thursday. Bye-bye.